Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to really extract the good stuff from the sources we've gathered. We talked a lot about first impressions, right? Just a few seconds can kind of set the whole direction of an interaction. But have you ever stopped to think about the actual, architecture of those first moments? Not just the words, but why those words and the impact they have. Well, today, that's exactly what we're doing. We're diving deep into the absolute foundations of English communication greetings and self-introductions. Think of it like day one of really unlocking the strategic side of everyday language. We want to go beyond just memorizing phrases,
That's a great way to put it, because these things, a simple hello, how you introduce yourself,
Okay.
they often get brushed off as just, basic manners. But what our sources show is they're actually much more. They're sophisticated social tools. They build rapport, signal your intentions, and maybe most importantly, they build your own confidence right from the start. And the key thing isn't just knowing what to say, it's understanding the structure behind it, the communication architecture, if you will. That structure, that's what gives you the flexibility to use them well in all sorts of situations.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack all of that from the material we have here. We're looking for those practical insights you can use right away. We promise we're going beyond just what to say and really digging into the strategic why, turning these basics into, powerful tools. So let's get started. Let's decode this universal language of greeting. Hashtag the universal language of greeting. Okay, let's unpack this. So the sources kick things off with the most fundamental greeting. Hello. It seems so simple, maybe even the default choice. But what actually makes hello so versatile? What's it really signaling?
Well, what's fascinating is just how strategically useful hello is. The material highlights it as the ultimate neutral starting point. Yes, it's an any time of the day phrase, but its real strength is in its ambiguity and its inclusivity. It doesn't assume you know the time, doesn't carry the same maybe social weight as a time-specific greeting might. It's low risk, high reward, works almost anywhere. Formal meeting, bumping into someone casually. It's perfect when you're maybe a bit unsure of the situation. It's just an invitation, plain and simple.
That makes a lot of sense, like a gentle knock instead of barging in.
Yeah.
But then the sources bring in the nuance pretty quickly with good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mm-hmm. What's the advantage, or maybe the social expectation, when choosing one of those instead of just hello?
Right. The material pushes us to think about the social job these greetings do. They're not just about the clock. They signal a higher level of attention. Social awareness. When you say good morning, you're doing more than just greeting. You're acknowledging their day starting. You're placing yourself in that shared time frame. And the sources give those clear time boundaries. Good morning, basically sunrise till noon. Good afternoon, noon till maybe 5 or 6 p.m. Good evening for the rest of the active part of the day. Using the right one shows respect, shows connection. It shows you're present. It can feel a little more, intentional than a generic hello.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting for me, because then there's good night. I've seen people, especially learners, get tripped up by good night quite a bit. Our sources really emphasize how different its use is. Right. What's the key difference there, and why is it so vital to get right?
This is such a crucial point, and the sources are crystal clear. Unlike the other good greetings, which are for starting things, for arriving, good night is almost entirely a farewell. The material specifically says its main use is before going to sleep, or when you're leaving someone for the evening. It clearly signals the end of the interaction, or at least the end of your part in it. Using good night when you arrive, that can feel awkward because it just breaks that social expectation. You're basically saying bye when you mean hi. It's a small thing, but noticeable. A social misstep. It's like a boundary marker. A linguistic closing statement, really.
So it's not just the word itself, but the social agreement it represents. The sources even give that classroom example. Good morning, students. And the reply, good morning, teacher. Mm-hmm. What does that simple back and forth actually do in a social setting?
Oh, it's a perfect example of what we might call a communication ritual. That exchange, good morning, students, good morning, teacher. It's not just politeness. It instantly sets a shared context. It confirms everyone recognizes each other. It subtly reinforces roles. It's this little micro ritual that sets the tone for whatever comes next. It's like saying, okay, we see each other, we respect this space and time, let's begin. And that kind of structured start is incredibly powerful. It builds trust, connection, often without us even realizing it. It's the foundation.
That's a really powerful way to think about it. So bringing it back to you, our listener, understanding these nuances, not just the what, but the when and why of hello versus good morning, and especially that unique farewell job of good night. It helps you navigate social stuff with way more confidence, more finesse. It means you're not just, saying English words, you're using English effectively. You're building rapport right away, showing social smarts, making a better first impression. It's about leveraging simple words for, significant impact. #, the blueprint for self-introduction. Okay, so building on that first connection, the next step naturally is often telling people a bit about yourself. But how do you do that well? Our sources lay out a really clear, almost like an architectural plan for introducing yourself. It's not just a list of facts, it's presented as a strategic way to share your story.
Exactly. And if you think about the bigger picture, this isn't just some random sequence. It's kind of a universal social agreement for introductions. It's designed to get the essential info across efficiently, respectfully. The material we looked at outlines 5 key steps. Together, they make a really strong but short personal snapshot. First, the greeting back to hello or good morning reestablishes that connection, so it's a welcoming vibe. Second, your name, my name is, the main identifier, right? Your anchor. Third, place I am from gives context, maybe finds common ground. Fourth is study work. I study in class, or I work as, tells people your main activity or professional role. And finally, a little personality with your hobby, my hobby is, makes you seem more, human. Relatable. It's a pretty amazing formula for managing how much you share in different situations.
It really is like a perfectly built mini story, just enough to invite more conversation, but not so much it overwhelms. And the source material makes it super concrete with that example. It gives us, hello everyone, my name is Ramesh, I am from Hazaribagh, I study in class 7, my hobby is playing cricket, thank you. What makes that example work so well? What can we take away besides just the order?
That example is brilliant, yeah. It shows not just what to put in, but how to deliver it. It's efficient, clear, complete, but not too much. Every piece does its job. Hello everyone gets attention, shows you're ready. Name, place, study, hobby, concise snapshot. But what's really insightful, I think, is adding that thank you at the end. That's not just, being polite as an afterthought. It's a strategic wrap-up. It signals you're finished. It shows appreciation for their listening. And it gracefully passes the conversational turn. Psychologically ending clearly like that makes you seem more confident, more in control, sets up what comes next. It's a really neat way to finish your little personal presentation.
That's a really key point. The thank you isn't just manners, it's like a confident full stop. So for you listening, having this clear structure, it's honestly a game changer. It gives you the confidence to introduce yourself pretty much anywhere, casual party, maybe a networking thing, even just a new class. You won't be fumbling for words, wondering if you said too much or too little. You've got this clear, effective pathway. Turns those potentially awkward first moments into chances to connect to make an impact. This structure lets you shape your intro strategically. # tag the indispensable role of practice. Okay, so we've talked about understanding the what and the why behind these communication basics. But as anyone who's learned a new skill knows, understanding isn't enough without actually doing it. Our sources then move right into the absolutely crucial role of practice. And it's not just a friendly suggestion, it's framed as the key to getting from knowing it to owning it with confidence.
Yeah, what's really fascinating is how directly the material links practice to confidence. The instruction isn't just memorize this, it's speak at least 3 to 5 sentences about yourself. Practice every day until you feel confident. That highlights something critical. Confidence isn't something you just have beforehand, it's the result of putting in the work consistently. From a sort of cognitive science angle, daily repetition, even just short bursts, builds those neural pathways, creates language muscle memory. That means when you're actually in the situation, you can access these phrases, these structures without really thinking hard about it, which frees up your brain to focus on the actual person you're talking to. It's about making it automatic. So you stop worrying about what to say and start focusing on the interaction itself.
And the source doesn't just say practice. It gives you super specific, actionable homework. It suggests, record a short video of your introduction in English. Practice it 5 times. That's incredibly practical advice. Not vague at all. It's something you can actually do and measure. But what's the deeper reason for those specific things? Why a video? Why 5 times?
That raises a really good question. The why behind those specific recommendations is all about self-assessment and really embedding the skill. Recording a video, it's not just about hearing your voice. It lets you critically assess yourself from the outside. You can watch your pronunciation, listen to your tone, check your body language, your pacing, things you totally miss in the moment. It gives you objective feedback. You become your own coach in a way. And practicing it 5 times, or maybe even more, that taps into the power of repetition. Spaced repetition, active recall. Repeating it helps lock it into your long-term memory. It goes from being something you have to consciously recall to something that just flows. Think about a musician practicing scales. The first time's awkward, right? By the 5th, 10th time, it's much smoother. Less mental effort needed during the actual performance. It turns the introduction from being like a script you're reading into something that feels natural, like a part of you.
Exactly. That shift from conscious effort to just flowing. So to bring it back to you, our listener, the way to get truly comfortable and fluent with any new skill, especially communication, it really lies in that kind of focus, regular practice. It's not about being perfect on day one. It's about sticking with the process. That's what takes you from just understanding a concept to confidently using it, making those words, those structures really feel like yours. That's where the knowledge actually turns into power. Hashtag outro. Wow, what a great deep dive today. We've really unpacked the strategic side of basic English greetings, from the usefulness of hello to that key farewell roll of good night. We've explored that 5-step blueprint for introductions, looking at not just the order, but the why behind each part. And maybe most importantly, we've dug into why practice-specific, consistent practice like recording yourself is so absolutely critical. It really shows how much strategic depth there is, even in what seem like the simplest communication building blocks, these day one basics. They're definitely not superficial.
Absolutely. And that brings me to a final thought I'd like to leave you with. Beyond just knowing the right words, what does the confidence you build by mastering these fundamental greetings and introductions truly unlock for you? How does delivering a really solid, confident introduction do more than just share facts? How does it create connection? Open doors, shape how people see you, pave the way for, deeper conversations in any language, any culture. Think about the ripple effect you can create with just a few words, chosen well and practiced well. How might you use these tools strategically in your very next interaction? Go out there and make those words count, not just for what they say, but for what they do.